Good Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy, and it is time for your Saturday night sports buzz with your favorite sports guy. Again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. I hope you all are having a great weekend, and we are in the month of May. 2026 is moving right along, aren't isn't it? And some beautiful weather. Beautiful. I said beautiful. I meant beautiful. Enunciation. Get it better, young man. It was some beautiful weather here in Texas, and more specifically here in Tyler, where I'm located. Basically, it was around 75 to 78 degrees. Spring like, yep, because we're still in spring. Beautiful sunshine. So it was a beautiful day. So I hope everyone again is having a great weekend. So make sure you come in. You know what you have to do when you come in the club, Kendrick. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. That is Kendrick Sports Hustle. Make sure you like and subscribe to TFG Sports Media as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. And again, share it all to all your social media platforms. And comment, first and foremost, comment so we can engage. Make sure you comment. Make sure you let me know where you're watching from. And we definitely will. I will give you a shout out. I will definitely talk with you. That's what this is all about. This Saturday night sports buzz show that I do. It's about engagement. It's about having a conversation with those in the chat. You know, I know a lot of people may not be around social media. They may be out and about, going to the movies, this and that on a Saturday night for those that have a social life. But for your boy, I ain't got much going on. And you know what? I ain't really tripping. I'm cool with that. I really am. You know, I got my two grandbabies, my 8 month old, well, 7 month old. Wait, no, he's 8 months now. My 8 month old grandson, Honest Kwawi Mitchell, and my 11-year-old granddaughter, Anila Mitchell, who I love dearly, both of them. That's it, pretty much. My children I love dearly too. They grown adults. They got their own thing going on. Kendrick Jr., Candace, my only daughter, and my youngest son, Kentrail, Damon. Those are my babies. So yeah, your boy, and I'm a sports guy. I love sports, and I'm watching sports right now. As I'm doing this live, I'm listening to a little music on YouTube that you can't hear. But I'm also watching the Celtics and the Sixers in game 7 right over here. And man, it is it's going down. It's looking kind of thick right now. Looking kind of scary for them Celtics, but to hold on just a second. They've made a run. It's 90 to 84 right now, with 9 minutes and 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And the Celtics are without one of their all-stars, Jason Tatum. He is not playing tonight due to an injury. He had something happen in game 6. I can't remember what it was, but he was scratched for tonight's game 7, which is in Boston. I said it like they said on the East Coast. I had to pull my East Coast accent out, which I don't have. But yeah, it's going down in Boston, man. It's tightened up. The 76ers have led this game pretty much all the way. But now it's getting sticky, icky, as they say. So yeah, that's what we got. The biggest, we had the Kentucky Derby earlier. I didn't watch that. But as far as today's sports day was pretty quiet, except for again Kentucky Derby and this game 7 between the Celtics and the 76ers, who has such a storied history. When you talk about both these franchises, when you talk about their rivalry in the playoffs, man, it goes back to the mid-70s when I was a little shorty watching the 76ers and the Celtics battle. You know, Dr. J and Moses Malone and Mo Cheeks versus them Celtics with Tiny Archibald and some of the names I can remember. I mean, a lot of people don't remember Tiny Archibald was that dude at point guard When you talk about, I think he may have averaged. No, he didn't. That was Oscar Robertson. But Tiny Archibald was that dude. Again, like I said, the Celtics, John Havlicek and all those guys. And again, it was a battle between the Sixers and the Celtics. I've never been a Celtics fan, but I was always a 76ers fan because Dr. J, Julius Erving, he and Muhammad Ali was my first two idols when it came to athletes that I admired. It was the late, great Muhammad Ali and Julius Dr. J. Erving. So I remember those Celtics and 76ers games and that playoff series, and they were heated. They was going at it. The Celtics would get the best of them sometime, and the 76ers would get the best of them sometime. So that's the way it goes. So right now, the 76ers are up 92-84, man. Again, this is game 7. Celtics are the 7th seed. I'm sorry, the Celtics are the 2nd seed, and the Sixers are the 7th seed. Looking like Jaylen Brown took a fall. He's getting up slowly. Boy, if the Celtics are without him, and he's got a little limp right now. Jaylen Brown does. It looks like he's walking it out, but yeah, man. So if the Sixers win this, with them being the 7th seed, oh wow, that looked like an offensive foul to me. First off, but anyway, if the 76ers win this, they will face the higher seed. Again, the Pistons are in a dogfight too. They go into a 7th game with the 8th seed Magic. And that game tips off on tomorrow. So if the Pistons win tomorrow and the Sixers win tonight, then the Sixers would face the Pistons, because the number 1 seed will face the lower seed. Right now, the Knicks are waiting on that Cleveland and that Toronto series, because that's a game 7 too. Yeah. Speaking of that, just a recap of what went down last night. Cavs the 4th seed, the Raptors the 5th seed. The Raptors got the win in overtime, 112-110. Again, that sent that series to 7 games. Raptors RJ Barrett hit that clutch 3-point shot with the bounce, the shooter's bounce as they call it, in overtime. And it was reminiscent of former Raptors Kawhi Leonard, big shot he hit in the playoffs a couple of years ago when he was a Raptor. It was I believe it was versus the Celtics, and it was in the Eastern Conference semifinal game. So, yeah, so we got it going on. Lady T is in the house. Cannot believe the Lakers pulled it off. I actually can, Lady T. I actually can. You know why? Because after looking at that game and looking at the Rockets team, that Rockets team is an average team without Kevin Durant. And with him, they are a slightly above average team. The Rockets got exposed in this series. I think they aren't as good as a lot of people thought they were. And I think the Rockets now might be having buyer's remorse for trading for Kevin Durant. I want to hear from Rockets fans. I wish my cousin Charles Henderson was in here, Peanut. I wish he was watching this, because he definitely is he's a H-down. He was born in Houston. He's a big-time Houston sports fan of all the teams. He could definitely give me his take on it. I'm just giving my outside take on it, watching that game last night between the Lakers and the Rockets. And oh, by the way, again, the Lakers closed that out with the big win over the 5th-seeded Rockets, 98-78. Lakers win that series 4-2. They were up 3-0 in that series, and they got a little shaky there. Because the Rockets had won the last 2, but the Lakers were able to get the win last night. Lakers went on a 27-3 first half run, and then they led at 18 at the half, and then they pretty much coasted the rest of the way in. LeBron James, the 41-year-old future Hall of Famer, what can you say? You can say what you want. You may not like him. You may love him. I'm not a big LeBron fan, but I respect his game. He's one of the greats. You can take your feelings out of it. There's facts. He's one of the greats. He's not my GOAT, but I can understand if those that feel like he is the GOAT. But he carried this team without Austin Reeves as well as Luka Doncic. Austin Reeves did come back and play the game, but he wasn't that efficient. But LeBron James, he handled his business at 41, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists last night, and he now is 42-15 in playoff clinching games in his career. That is LeBron James. So again, you can say what you want about him. Again, I'm not a big LeBron James fan at all, but I respect him and I don't dislike him. I'm not a LeBron James hater. So now they move on. That is the Lakers to face the number 1 seed in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder. That series, the Western Conference semifinal series, that tips off on Tuesday. As far as the other semifinal series in the Western Conference, you got the 2-seeded San Antonio Spurs that would face the 6-seed Minnesota Timberwolves. That's going to be interesting. Don't know the status on my favorite player to watch in the NBA. I'm an MJ guy. Everybody knows that knows me. He's always going to be my GOAT. He is my GOAT. Nothing's going to change that at all. So I don't even get into debate about that. And I say this all the time. This GOAT debate about who's the greatest in NBA history is over. It's played out. It's tired. I don't know why people keep talking about it, but it gets people riled up on social media and on podcasts. But I think it's old and played out. The conversation should be deaded at this point because there's really nothing else to talk about. Because most people, if you already know who your GOAT is, you ain't changing their mind. So why the hell do we keep talking about it? But again, I guess it makes good conversation. It's rage bait and it's good clicks, and I get that. But I don't. If you follow me on any of my social media platforms, I would never put anything up asking who's the GOAT of the NBA. And that's the only sport. The NBA is the only professional sport that this conversation takes place. You never hear anybody talking about who's the greatest of all time in NFL. You hear it at positions, but you don't never hear that at the NFL. You don't never hear them talk about it in Major League Baseball, in NHL, soccer, women's. I don't understand why is this conversation is always just the NBA. I don't get that, but that's just my take on that. What's going on? How you doing? Is that Barbara Delgado? Nice for popping in. And then they said bye. Okay, glad you popped in and said bye. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday night. That was the quickest hi and bye that I've ever had in my life on social media. Barbie Delgado said hi and bye. I guess I wasn't entertaining enough for for her. That was funny. It's always something. You just never know what you're going to get in these social media streets. You just never know who's going to click in and if it's going to be a bot, if it's going to be somebody trolling. You just never know what you're going to get. So you got to stay on your P's and Q's when you checking these comments. Man, again, this game is tight. It's tightened up. 95-91, the Sixers up. I picked the Celtics to win this at home. But it's anybody's game. It's a whole lot of time left, too. So, again, there you have it. Speaking of going back to the NBA playoffs, let's talk about the Pistons and the Magic. Number 1 seed in the East and the 8th seed in the East, the Magic. Pistons were down by 24 points in this game, ladies and gentlemen. And the Pistons came back, roared back, and won last night 93-79. Again, now this series is going to a game 7 on tomorrow. The Magic missed 23 consecutive shots. Didn't make a bucket in almost an hour. A media member called them the Orlando Tragic. I'm like, yeah, that was tragic. And my good brother Sean Williams picked the Magic to win this series. And he might be right because, again, it's going to a game 7, but going to Detroit, going to the D, the Magic is going to have a tough hill to climb. I don't know if they can pull it off, but they've made this more of a series than I thought it would be. I'll be honest with you. I thought the Pistons were going to win this series in 5. And the Magic has showed some resilience, and they've showed some gusto except for last night. They couldn't hit the side of a barn. Their shooting was horrible. So again, so that series is going to 7. So the Knicks have already dispatched of the Hawks. That was that game. I think the Hawks lost by 51 points. You talking about? I think that was like the biggest deficit ever, or close. Yeah, in NBA history, they lost by 51 points to the Knicks. I think most people. I picked the Knicks to at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So the Knicks is going to be playing. I think the Knicks are the 3 seed. So they're going to probably either play the Cavs. Oh, it just depends on what goes down in these other game 7s. Again, like if the Magic win, then they got the Pistons. So it's going to who the Cavs and Raptors and the Knicks, whoever the Knicks is going to meet is going to be either the Cavs or the Raptors, most likely. But we'll see. We'll have to see with that. As far as the Western Conference is already set, like I said, the Lakers will be taking on the number 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the 2 seed San Antonio Spurs will take on the Minnesota Timberwolves, the 6 seed in the Western Conference semifinals. I think we're looking at a Oklahoma City Thunder, San Antonio Spurs Western Conference final. That's what I think. But you know what? You gotta get on the hardwood and you gotta play the game. So we can sit here and look at the matchups and talk about what's gonna happen all day until we blue in the face. At the end of the day, you got to get out there and play. The players do. So, yeah, so let's see, man. These Celtics and these 76ers. Let me see what's the update on this. We're loving it. Oh, yeah, it's this thing. It's 95-94. Sixers only up by a bucket. Man, this thing is going down to the wire. And here's the thing. I think the 76ers didn't need to allow the Celtics to make this close, because I think if it's close like this, I think the Celtics is going to win this game just because of home cooking. That's just my personal opinion. I think when you got home court advantage or home field advantage in whatever sport you're in, if it's a close game, the home team, if they can keep it close, that's what you want to do, because a lot of times you're going to get that home cooking. So there we have it. But I want to ask you, man, I wish I had some Houston Rockets fans, because I really want to dig a little bit more deeper. Well, not tonight, but I will eventually, on the Houston Rockets. What should they do? As you know, they traded for Kevin Durant from the Phoenix Suns. They thought this organization, that is the Houston Rockets, that he was the missing piece to get them over the hump with that young nucleus that they have down there, and possibly, to get them to the finals again, because it's been a long time since the Houston Rockets been to NBA Finals. Hell, I think it's been since what, 94, 95? Since the last time the Houston Rockets been to the NBA Finals? I believe so. It's been a minute. So, now that I think about that, I'm like, Houston, outside of the Astros, I'm in this sports group where these Houston fans that really be itching on Dallas. But I'm thinking, like, outside of the Astros, Houston fans, it's been a drought for y'all too. Outside of the Astros and the Houston Comets, the WNBA, because the Houston Rockets ain't sniffed the NBA Finals, since 94, 95? The Houston Texans ain't been to a Super Bowl. The Houston Astros is the only professional team the Houston fans can hang their hat on. So I think it's kind of funny, because I don't have a dog in the fight at all, obviously. Wisconsin-born, Texas-raised, 414, baby, Brew City, Packers fan. So I don't have a dog in the fight. So I just sit back on the sideline and I be reading, I'm watching a lot of these comments. Now that I think about it, like, wait a minute, Houston fan, sports fans, your professional league fans, you give all this ish to the goddamn Dallas fans and they Cowboys fans and Mavericks fans. But hell, the Mavericks been to the finals, 2 years ago? Matter of fact, they won the championship in 2011. Rockets ain't won one since 94, 95. Talk to me, Houston sports fans. Yeah, the Cowboys, they ain't been to a Super Bowl since 95. 31 years. Houston, Texas ain't never been to a Super Bowl. Talk to me, Houston fans. Where you at? Now, again, Astros, you can hang your hat on that. But guess what? Texas Rangers won a World Series a couple of years ago. So I'm really trying to think, how come the Houston sports fans be trying to issue on the Dallas professional sports fans? Because to be quite frankly, when you look at it from that perspective, Houston sports fans, you ain't had much. Again, I don't have a dog in the fight. Lady T says only sport. I don't. I'm giving it facts. I ain't in my feelings. I'm just asking. I could not figure out why he even went to the Rockets. Well, he was traded, Lady T. And he wanted out. Let me say this. Kevin Durant wanted out of Phoenix. Everywhere he's been, he wanted out. Now that we think about it, going back to Kevin Durant, he wanted out of Oklahoma City. He went to Golden State, won him 2 chips there. He wanted out of Golden State after him and Draymond had their little tiff. He ended up pairing with Kyrie in Brooklyn. That was a disaster. He wanted out of Brooklyn. He was traded to Phoenix. That was okay. Wasn't nothing to write home about him and Devin Booker. He wanted out of Phoenix. And now he is in Houston. He's probably going to want out of Houston too. But he's 37 years old. So Kevin Durant is in the twilight of his career. So the common denominator, if you think about it, I think Kevin Durant is one of the most efficient scorers the NBA has ever seen. His mid-range game, his three-point shot, what he can do on the offensive end, one of the best to do it. But if you're talking about a guy that is that dude when it comes to leadership on and off the court and can get it done, I never looked at him as Batman. I never have looked at him like that. I don't think he's that dude. That isn't his personality. And that's okay if it's not. But he's not that dude, in my opinion. And so, if you think that's the dude that can carry a team, especially a young team like the Rockets, to a championship, I think you guys got sold a bag of magic beans, Houston. Yeah. Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, you got sold, and I really, really want to listen. I really want to get Houston Rockets fans and Houston sports fans' take on this Kevin Durant thing, because I think they should have kept that young nucleus together and maybe had that. And, they was going to have some growing pains. And, I know you wanted to bring in veteran and whatnot. And like I said, Kevin Durant, again, I'm not taking away from what he can do on the court offensively, top 5 career scorer of all time. But I don't know. He's not that lead dog. I never felt like he was. And some players aren't, and that's okay. Lady T says, I always liked the kid when he was at OKC. I don't dislike KD. Again, I'm with you, Lady T, but I'm just talking from a guy that you want to lead a team, that missing piece, to lead your team to a chip. And that dude, he's Batman. I don't know if he's that dude. Again, yeah, he won 2 with Golden State. But I think if he wouldn't even went to Golden State, I think that team probably could have won 1 or 2 without Kevin Durant, just because of what they were doing at that point, at that time. Now, adding him definitely gave them the leg up on the league. Don't get it twisted. I get it. If I'm Golden State, if I had an opportunity to add a guy like that, you damn right I'm bringing him. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's get it. Let's see how many more we can get with one of the most efficient scorers in league history. Come on, let's take him. I wouldn't shoo him away. But I'm just saying, has Kevin Durant ever led his team to the promised land? No. But again, that's just my take on it. So that's where we are in the NBA playoffs. And it's gonna be a good one. This Boston Philly game is really tightened up a whole lot. Because I'm watching it on a feed, but I think my feed is lagging. So I don't want to look like it's. Let me refresh this. And dang it. Don't you love the internet? I'm trying to refresh my let's see what the score. Oh, it's 101-98 Sixers with 1 minute and 23 seconds left. I wish Cece was in here. I know she a Sixer fan. She a Philly fan with my Cece, Lady T. I know Lady T a Baltimore fan. I know that. She's a Ravens fan. Lady T says, Father Time catching up to him in Golden State. I was happy for him that he did get a ring. So many good players don't get that ring. Yep. And I definitely don't think that diminishes a player as a great player if he doesn't have a ring. I think that's so difficult to do in a team sport anyway. So again, I think there's so many great players that that I don't hold that against them if they didn't get a chip, because again, when you're talking about team sports, it's more than it's a team thing. It's not a me thing. You just have to have the right combination, the right players, and have that chemistry and get on that road. When you talk about team sports, that's just the way it is. So I never knock a player for not getting a chip, because that's not part of my criteria on measuring how great a player is. Doesn't have it. Me personally, I don't care about if you got a chip or not. It's about how were you able to produce. Now, having a chip gives you a leg up, I think, especially if you got multiple. And that changes the conversation, but not having one doesn't mean that you're not a great player either in whatever particular sport that you are in. So that's just my thoughts on that. And again, that's always up for debate, and it's a very, very debatable topic. And speaking of debatable topic, Lady T, we got to talk about Shilo Sanders sandwich comment. Goes viral. I don't know if you saw this, Lady T. This went viral about 24 to 48 hours ago. Shilo has a problem with Cleveland Browns sports Cleveland. Well, she writes for the Cleveland, I think, Insider. I could have that paper name wrong. But Mary Kay Cabot, she is a veteran sports journalist, an award-winning sports journalist. She writes for the Cleveland, I think it's called the Insider. She's followed the Browns for decades. She came out and said that she felt like Deshaun Watson, because rookie minicamps have started for certain teams. I think the Browns may have started their minicamp, but I know the Cowboys and the Packers started their rookie minicamp on yesterday. And Mary Kay Cabot came out and said that she felt like the Browns need to make Deshaun Watson name him as the starter sooner rather than later. In her mind, she thinks he should be the starter because he gives that team the best chance to win, according, again, to Mary Kay Cabot. Well, Shilo Sanders, who is the older brother of Shedeur, he's the second oldest brother, because obviously Bucky, Deion Sanders Jr. is the oldest, but he's the older brother of Shedeur. Didn't take too kindly of that comment, of that assessment. And he responded on social media, told Mary Kay Cabot to go make a sandwich, as you see here if you're watching me on Facebook and YouTube. And boy, that lit up social media, and it went on. It started a grass fire, as they say. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, it has been crazy, crazy, crazy. And so a lot of people have pushed back on Shiloh with this comment, but he doubled down on it. He doubled down on it. He said that he feels like that this particular award-winning sports journalist has a vendetta against his brother. Her reports are always coming from a place of emotion and not a place of facts. So Shiloh basically said that she needs to go make a sandwich. And so some people were saying this was misogynistic and this and that and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And then Coach Prime was asked about his response to his son, calling out this Cleveland Browns reporter. He said, you know what, that's just internet mess. He said, I'm not interested in that. He said, I'm paraphrasing. He said, I got bigger fish to fry. He said, I'm praying for other things. He said, I'm not getting involved in that internet mess. That's what Coach Prime said when he was asked about Shiloh telling Mary Kay Cabot to go make a sandwich because of her comments about Shedeur. My thoughts on this, I don't like that comment from Shiloh. I think it has a 1950s undertone to it. To go tell a woman to go make a sandwich, I don't like this comment, but I understand he's coming from a place of frustration too. I get it. Big brother he's taking up for little brother. Totally understand that. But this is where I always remember what Herm Edwards said. When he was with the head coach of the New York Jets, he said, there's 3 words I want to tell these young players, these young people when it comes to social media. Don't hit send. Sometimes it's best not to hit send on social media. And I think this is one of those moments. I think that Shiloh, if he could have maybe came with a different wording or a different statement, I would have got it. But this one right here, it's that again, I don't like it. I would have rather him come with something different. Me personally. And sometimes we be in our feelings so much that we get the Twitter fingers that again, because once you hit send, you can't bring it back. It's out there, and it's gonna forever be out there. So that's my thoughts on it. Mary Kay Cabot would respond to this actual Shiloh response, and she basically kept it professional. She really didn't even address it at all. She's aware of it. I can't remember what she said, but she didn't even mention it at all, totally, because someone asked her did about, Shiloh Sanders did not like what she said, and she didn't even make mention of this particular comment. Now, let me say this. I don't agree with Mary Kay Cabot's assessment. I think Shedeur Sanders should be the starter. And oh, by the way, Sixers have sent the Celtics fishing, 109 to 100. So the Celtics are getting ready to be with my Bucks on Lake Varnell, where the catfish are delicious. This is an upset. Yeah. Wow. I did not pick the Sixers to win this series. I picked the Celtics to win. The Celtics did not have Jason Tatum tonight, by the way, due to injury. But that's a wrap. So the Philly is going to be either facing, they're going to probably most likely be facing the Pistons. But then, too, I don't want to say that. But back to this particular situation, I don't agree with Mary Kay Cabot's assessment. I don't. But at the end of the day, she follows the Cleveland Browns. She's in that market, so she's aware. She knows who's there and who's not, and that's her take. But also, I can say that I don't agree with her take. I don't think Deshaun Watson should be the starter, and I don't think he should be the front runner. That I think Shedeur should be the starter. And I said that from the beginning. Lady T says that lady does go at those brothers hard. Honestly, I did laugh at first. Then I said, "Why did you hit sin, Shiloh?" Yeah, that's me too, Lady T. My only thing is, I get it. I wish he would have said something different, like go take a nap, Mary, or you know, go take a Sunday drive or something. But that has a lot, like I said, go make a sandwich. That's like, that has some 50s undertone to it, where women are just supposedly go be quiet and go cook and clean and be barefoot and pregnant. That's the undertone that gives. And so that's my thoughts on that. But I definitely don't, here's the thing I think we have to understand, man, because this person is a sports journalist, they've been in the game for decades like she has. She's an award-winning sports journalist. I get it. But just because they get their takes don't necessarily mean that they right either. Again, I disagree with her wholeheartedly. I don't know why she thinks that Deshaun Watson should be the starter. He hadn't played in 2 years? And when he played, he was inefficient. So why should he just be handed the job? Why? I don't get that. So at the end of the day, it really isn't. It doesn't matter what Mary Kay Cabot says or what I say or even what Shiloh says. At the end of the day, it's about what the Cleveland Browns organization and the new head coach Todd Monken, what they decide to go with. That's what's gonna, what's gonna end up being what's the deal. So I don't know, but man, Shiloh, young fella, I get it. Big brother, I got a younger brother too. And I get that big brother, younger brother mentality. When if somebody's coming at my baby brother, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna take up for my baby brother. I get it. Nah, you ain't coming at my baby brother like that. So I definitely get that perspective from Shiloh. And I ain't knocking him for taking up for his baby brother. Let me make that perfectly clear. I'm not knocking him for doing that. That's what big brothers do. But that comment right there, I don't like that one, young fella. I didn't like that one. Come up with another. Matter of fact, Shiloh, because he's a funny young man. He's very charismatic. He does some stuff on social media. He's really good on camera, in front of the camera. Maybe we could collaborate, and I can come up with some one-liners or something for you. When you when you try to go at somebody, I definitely got you on that, young fella. Yeah. So we'll see how this continues. What will happen? Should Shiloh? I said in the TFG Sports Media. Speaking of which, make sure you subscribe to TFG Sports Media if you haven't, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle right here on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow them both on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram as well at Kendrick1969. And you can follow me on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson51. If you ain't following me on TikTok, please do. I'm almost at 4,000 followers. I'm about 32 short. So go over there and follow me on TikTok so we can get to them 4,000 followers and then take it to the next step when we get to 5,000 before the NFL kicks off. But again, we're going to keep an eye on this story. I had somebody comment on this story that I posted to TFG Sports Media. And this person says that Mary Kay Cabot is always barking at these brothers, that is Shiloh and Shedeur. And I responded to their comment. I was like, okay, if that's the case, I haven't ran across anything like that. Is there audio? If there is, point me to it, because I definitely want to listen to it and definitely will do a reaction to that as well, if that is the case. I do know there is some media guy in Cleveland. I remember when Shedeur was drafted, Shedeur kind of called this guy out later on. It's some guy that I was reading about that doesn't like, he's always was going on air, really always taking shots at Shedeur. I did see that, but I did not know Mary Kay Cabot was like this person said was always barking at them brothers. So we'll see. To a more positive story on the Sanders family, right before I went live, I did read that Shadur did graduate from the University of Colorado today, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Shadur, man. You know what? Hold on. Matter of fact, let me do better than that. Let me do better than that. Give Shadur a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. One more time. Shout out. He graduated from the University of Colorado on Saturday with his bachelor degree in sociology. And check this out, Lady T, if you're still watching. He graduated with a 3.9 GPA. Let me say that again. He graduated with a 3.9 GPA. That is Shadur Sanders. So shout out to the Sanders family. Even with this, I don't want to call it a controversy, but I guess if you want to give it that word. Shout out to Shadur, man. Considering all the spotlight and the microscope that he's been under the last 2 years, he was able to get his degree. And I was reading where I think Coach Prime said now 4 of his kids now have a degree, I believe, because I think Shiloh has his degree. DeAndrea, his oldest daughter, has her degree. Shadur now has his degree. And I'm assuming Bucky has his degree too. I'm assuming. So that leaves the baby girl, the last one. So again, after all this negativity, Shilo Sanders graduated with his bachelor degree in sociology. Let's big up him for that. How about that? Yeah, Lady T. Yeah, after all the negative stuff that people have to say about the Sanders family, about Shadur, about they arrogant and this and that, whoop-de-woo, yada, yada, yada. Coach Prime's children have not ever really been, they've never been in trouble with the law. You don't really see any salaciousness in the tabloids or in the internet about his children. You know, Shiloh has this little financial bankruptcy thing or this situation he had when he was back in high school. But outside of that, his children has never really been in trouble. So he's a hands-on father. That is Coach Prime. That is in his children's life. You can say what you want about him, but he's a daddy. And he don't play about his cubs. And I can understand that because I'm a daddy with 3 cubs of my own and 2 grandbabies. And I don't play about them either. Lady T says Dion really proud of his kids' education. Always was a priority for his kids. Dion's a good father. And you are right, Lady T. Yep. But you always got those out there, always trying to throw shots at Coach Prime. You know who you are. I ain't gonna even acknowledge you because if I say that person's name, then that probably come up in the algorithm, and I damn so don't comment nor follow or try not to even, you know. But I'm gonna leave that at that. But again, I wanted to mention that tonight that Shadur did graduate from the University of Colorado got his degree in sociology with a 3.9 GPA. So shout out to Shadur. Do your thing, young fella. And look like these Cleveland Browns, speaking of what, I think they had a pretty good draft. And hopefully all goes well in Cleveland Brown territory. So again, you are watching your boy Kendrick the Sports Guy. It is called my Saturday Night SportZ Buzz, where we talk sports mostly, but we talk other things that come across the pipeline. I have I have opinions. Lady T knows this. She watches us on TFG Tonight. And if you haven't, make sure you check out TFG Tonight with host Brenton Haynes and myself as part of the panel, as well as Lee Black, my good brother, and my good sister, the beautiful Devin Devine. We come on every Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, go watch some of the shows. Make sure you follow it right here on YouTube as well. But I have opinions on more than sports. Sports is my passion, though. That's my first love. I would say that. But other things come up. The biggest topic. I talked about it last week when it broke. The biggest topic has been the Klay Thompson and the Megan Thee Stallion breakup. Jeez. Goodness gracious. I don't know why people be so involved in celebrity relationships. I get it though. But they are just regular people like we are. And unfortunately, their stuff play out in front of the whole world. So it definitely puts a whole lot of pressure and a whole different twist on trying to have a relationship. Whatever it is. This whole, like I said, this whole Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion thing, again, we don't know the ins and outs. I don't know. We just assuming, allegedly Klay Thompson stepped out. I don't know. That's what Megan is alleging that he did. And I said this last night on TFG Tonight. That's the difference between the way men and women handle relationship issues, especially now that we're in the social media world. And I ain't gonna say this is all the time, but most of the time, women going to be more outspoken about whatever is going on in the relationship. They're gonna probably post about it, talk about it first and foremost, whether it's going good or bad. Most of the time, men, especially if it went south, men ain't gonna say much until they feel like they backed in the corner. Yeah. So it's unfortunate. Yeah, I can't wait either, Lady T. What is baby girl going to do? She transferred to Colorado Pueblo. That's where she's going to be playing college ball at this season. That is the baby girl, Shalomi. I never can say her name right. I forgot what his nickname is for. He has a nickname for, but she's transferred to University of Colorado Pueblo, so she's gonna be closer to Pops. I can't wait to see. Hopefully, she'll in her basketball career take off. And even if it doesn't, hopefully, whatever she decides to do, I'm sure she's going to be successful in that because of the support of her parents. I'm not going to just say Coach Prime or her mom too. And that's a big thing too, man. When you're a child and you have the support of your parent or your parents, that goes a long way for a kid. It really does. The supporting your children through the good and the bad, that goes a long way. And that's kind of how you produce, I think that's how you produce successful kids. Toria says, not like they were together for years. It was a few months. Who cares? He's a serial cheater. Should just pass on him. See, Lady T, you and Devin Devine, y'all say he's a serial. I don't know. I don't know if that can be verified or not. Maybe he's just dated a lot of women. Maybe he dated women that overlapped. That's all I'm saying. When you say serial cheater, I don't know that to be true. I don't know Klay Thompson like that. I just know that we Googled and we saw some women he dated. Now, was he cheating on those women and dating up? We don't know that. That's just the rumor mill. So that's why, again, that's why I don't really invest in a lot of these celebrity relationships, because I know they like Texas weather. They're going to change in a day or two. But I wish we would focus more on the celebrity marriages that are solid. I wish they got more spotlight. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't we be able to talk about the marriages that have stood the test of time? I would love us to magnify that more. Put that in the forefront. To show you that it can be done. The women he was with last 3 relationships, they said he cheated on her. Yeah, but that's the women though, Lady T. I don't know that. That's the women's side. Again, I'm about facts, not feelings. Okay, you say that. I can't verify that. And then those will say, well, if 3 women saying it, then it must be true. Possibly. But do women always tell the truth, Lady T? I'm not throwing no shade at women. But are women always forthright and forthcoming in relationships? Are they always truthful about what they've done? Transparent of what they've done in relationships? That's a whole nother subject. That's a whole nother topic that would that could stir the pot. So again, I hear you what you're saying, Lady T. The 3 women say that he cheated on them. Okay. That's their story. But I always say there's 3 sides to it. There's her side, his side, and the truth falls somewhere in the middle. So again, that's why I don't be getting invested in these celebrity relationships, whatever. But again, like I said just a minute ago, I would rather us highlight those successful marriages, the Denzels and the Paulettas. How about that? And then there's many others, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just them, it's many others that have stood the test of time during all this. But again, we all like salaciousness. Let's be honest. Though that's boring to the average person. They don't want to click on and read that. they that don't get no clicks. Oh, it's a marriage that's going well. Oh, they doing really good. Oh, that's beautiful. Nah, I pass. Let me go see. Let's go read this dysfunction over here. I rather read this about Megan and Clay, and he cheated on her, and she going off, and this and that. Nah, that's more interesting. And Denzel and Pauletta, that's boring. That's what we see on social media. Lady T says, yes, Denzel, Angela Bassett, they're great marriages out there. Yeah. So again, I wish we would spotlight that more. But again, I know that ain't what people clicking on. That ain't what they want to see. And again, as being a content creator, that's what you deal with on a daily basis. Because there are a lot of great stories out there. But I also know those stories aren't the ones that people gonna click on to watch. They ain't watching it, Lady T. They ain't watching them feel good stories, good positive energy stories. They not watching that. As my good brother Lee Black said, they want the effery. And you can feel that in. Lady T knows what he knows what he says. So there you have it. So again, I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. I done went almost an hour. I try to do about an hour on my sports buzz on Saturday night. I want to thank you, Lady T, for coming in, supporting your brother. I appreciate you. Love you to life, man. When it comes to support, man, you definitely are always in the mix. All of us on the TFG network, and we definitely appreciate you. I know I'm gonna give you your flowers while I can. So I definitely appreciate that for sure. Next weekend I will probably be here, same time, same channel. Lady T says, I really get tired of people minding others' business. Back in the day, people mind their own business, especially in Hollywood. We did not know who was sleeping with who or who was gay. That's true. Social media has changed the game. You're right. because everybody puts it all out here on social media now. That's where we at. The game done changed. You too, Lady T. You have a great weekend. Tell the mister I said hello. Hopefully he's doing well. Mr. Isaac, I believe. I'm going to start calling him Ike. That's Mr. Ike. Hopefully he's doing well. So I plan to be here next Saturday. It is Mother's Day weekend next weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're preparing for that. And for those that is going to be celebrating their mother, that's in heaven, like myself. It's definitely, one of those weekends where you just try to get through it the best as you can. This will be my brother and I's. My mother passed away in October of 2005, October 27th, 2005. So this will be my 20th Mother's Day, or 21st Mother's Day, I would say, that I would be visiting my mother in her final resting place. But I will be here next Saturday showing mother some love, doing something, probably talking about mothers and women, and probably talking about some of my favorite mother's stories. I got some stories of my mother, so many memories of my mother I cherish, being her only child for almost 8 years. So I will probably be telling some of my Mother's Day memories on next Saturday. And saluting all the mothers. James Brown wrote a song that was so prophetic. He said, "It's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl." And that is the most profound statement because, ladies and gentlemen, I would tell you, and any man that's worth his salt would say the same thing I say, that it's nothing like having a good woman as a partner, as a supporter in your life, period. Because a good woman can enhance you and they can protect you and they can see things that you may not see, men. I'm talking to my brothers out there. So there you have it. So again, we'll be celebrating mothers next weekend. I would definitely be telling some of my favorite mother's moments, reflecting on my mother, who's been on a peaceful journey for will be 21 years this year. And I will be speaking on the woman that made me a father as well, who's been on her peaceful journey. It'll be 4 years on Tuesday, my Bridget Annette. I will be talking about her, who I spent half my adult life with. We were married for almost 20 years, who passed away 4 years ago on May 5th. So I'll be talking about some of my favorite memories with my Bridget Annette. Yeah, I still call her my Bridget Annette because she will always be that. So, so that's what I'll be doing next weekend. Be here talking about sports because we'll be into the second round, the semifinal round of the NBA playoffs. I'm sure there'll be some more NFL news going on, some other things that'll be popping off. You know how sports is. There's always going to be some breaking news or something like that going down. So again, Sixers move on, ladies and gentlemen. The Celtics are gone fishing. They're on Lake Varnell, where the catfish are delicious. No Jason Tatum tonight for the Celtics, and that probably hurt them. That was like announced maybe like 2 hours before the game. I got the alert, and I was like, oh, well, that may change things, and it obviously did. So there you have it. Again, Lady T, love you to life. Thank you for popping in, hanging out with your brother on this Saturday night. And we'll get on off of here. And we'll see you on the next live stream. Again, I plan to be live next Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here at Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be talking Mother's Day memories and sports and some other stuff. If some other news pop off, obviously we'll be bringing that up as well. So again, you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening, and you have a great Sunday and a great start to your week. We will see you on the other side and on the next live stream. I am out. Peace.